Allah describes the scenario about a person who has some money, and then their relative comes to them, or a poor person comes to them, or a neighbor comes to them, a miskin comes to them and asks them for help. And maybe you don't have right now. Maybe you put your money in some investment already, or you barely have enough for yourself, and you're not able to give them. Sometimes people ask you and you're not able to give. وَإِمَّا تُعْرِضَنَّ عَنْهُمْ. And if you are avoiding those people who are asking you, somebody is asking you and you are avoiding them. You're kind of getting away from them because you're embarrassed that you don't have. وَإِمَّا تُعْرِضَنَّ عَنْهُمْ ابْتِغَاءَ رَحْمَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكَ. And you're only avoiding them because you are seeking rahmah from your Rabb. What in the world does that mean? Some people, when somebody comes and asks them, they say, I don't have anything. Like, there's a guy, the homeless guy at the highway, at the red light, at the stop sign, and he comes over it. I don't have anything, bro. Just go to the next car. You push him away like that? No, Allah is saying if they come to you, if anybody comes to you, and you try to respectfully avoid them, and the way in which you avoid them shows that you yourself are a faqir, you are desperately in need of the rahmah of your Rabb. Meaning Allah is watching, even when you say no, remember, you are looking for the rahmah of Allah. This person is a faqir for money, but you are a faqir for the rahmah of Allah. You are bankrupt for the rahmah of Allah. You need that. So watch your attitude when you turn someone down. وَإِمَّا تُعْرِضَنَّ عَنْهُمْ ابْتِغَاءَ رَحْمَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكَ تَرْجُوهَا. You are pursuing the rahmah of Allah, the love and care of Allah that you hope for. فَقُلْ لَهُمْ قَوْلًا مَيْسُورًا. Then speak to them in a nice, easy, let them down easy. Give them a hug, tell them I feel your pain as soon as I can. I'll try to do whatever I can, but this is a difficult time for me. I can share this meal with you right now, but I don't really have anything more. And I feel horrible letting you down. Like you have to go let them down easy. فَقُلْ لَهُمْ قَوْلًا مَيْسُورًا. Speak with them in easy, soft language. SubhanAllah. Because when they came to us asking us, they were bringing with them the rahmah of Allah. And when we could not give them, then we have to beg for the rahmah of Allah that came and we could not afford it. We could not get it. You see? This is the ultimate rizq. The real rizq we get is not the things we buy. The real rizq we get is the rahmah of Allah. And that comes when we give, not when we buy. Not when we take. It actually when we give that we receive the rahmah of Allah. Miskin is a combination of two words, masaka and sakana in Arabic. It's formulated by both of those words together. What that means is people that are stuck in a situation. Miskin does not mean poor people. There's other words for that in the Arabic language. There's fuqara, for example, in the Arabic language. But the miskin it's a deeper concept. The idea of a miskin is someone who is not able to help themselves in their financial situation or their political situation or their whatever problem. For example, if somebody is a driver, is a cab driver, and he makes his money, provides for his family by driving a cab, but his eyes become weak, or he has to go for surgery and he's legally considered blind. Now he can't drive a cab anymore. And that's the only job he had. Now he's stuck. He's got nothing else he can do. Because that was the only way he could have made money. He's not a beggar, he's not a poor person, but he's stuck in that situation. You have people, for example, that have reached an age where they've retired, but their retirement savings are not enough for them. They're not even able to get the groceries. They're stuck. They're not of the age where they can go get another job. They have a health condition, they have something else going on in their life. They're not able to do it, So you have people that are in these kinds of situations. You have mothers that are, single mothers that have children and they have to take care of their kids and they can't afford daycare. But because they have to take care of their kids, they can't go get a job. And if they go get a job, the children are left unattended. They're too young. And there's no family and no other support that can help them. These are the people that are called miskin. They're stuck. They can't help themselves. They're literally just from every angle, they're just caught. And they don't know what to do. Allah says, take care of those people. And by the way, it's an extension. So the first people we look for is within our own family, and then we identify who are people in that situation in our community. But the problem is, how are you going to know? And how am I going to know that in the city of Irving, that actually in this zip code, in this neighborhood, there is some family who has that problem? How are we supposed to know? If we don't get to know one another, and we don't make the effort to know each other's families, and we don't just say Salamu Alaikum to each other in a grumpy way after Jumu'ah is done and walk away, but actually make friends with each other. Our families get to know one another. Then we actually really become a community, and when someone has a problem, they don't have to, go begging. They don't have to stand outside the masjid and pull their hand out. We would know about that already. We would know somebody lost a job. We would know somebody got diagnosed with a disease. We would know somebody has too many medical expenses. We would know those things and we'd help them privately. Right? This is the idea of a community. That's what we're supposed to do. We cannot live by this ayah if we don't have this idea of tahabbu that the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that you're not going to have iman until you love one another. And the idea of afshu salam in that same hadith, spread the salam. Why spread the salam? It's not salamu alaikum wa alaikum salam. Okay, you go, you get your shoes, I get my shoes, and we're out of here. That's not the only salam. Salam means you introduce yourself to each other. You get to know one another. This is the idea. And then you get to know who the masakin are. Then the next idea, وَابْنَ السَّبِيلِ, after miskin, they call him the son of the path. That's literally the term used in the Arabic language, the son of the path. But the idea of son is someone who's associated with something. In other words, the one who's constantly traveling, the one who can't afford to live in one place for too long. You know, like in ancient societies, the Bedouins used to travel all the time. They could not stay in one place for long. They had to keep moving along. You have people like that are not, one kind of person this includes is al-musafir, someone who's traveling, is going through the city and whatever. But the other category of ibn sabil is people who can't afford stable housing. They're living in a motel, then they're living in somebody's house, then they're living somewhere else, and they're living somewhere else. Because they are in such dire situation, they're not able to stay in one place. They don't have a permanent home they can call their own. We have to identify those kinds of people, and if there's an opportunity, we help them. So for example, if you have a family member who lives in like California or North Carolina or somewhere and calls you and says, listen, we're having a little bit of a situation, can the children stay with you for a few weeks? It's inconvenient because you have your own family, you have your own things to take care of, and they're saying, can we come over for a few weeks? We're supposed to actually understand that that is their right. That house, when they were in need, the house that you live in is actually not your house only. A piece of it is for them according to Allah. This is their haqq. We have to give it. We can't say, oh well, it's a busy time right now. I don't really know if I can do that. I can give you some phone numbers for local hotels. You can Google those and, inshallah. No. We have to have the attitude of giving.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تأكلوا أموالكم بينكم بالباطل إلا أن تكون تجارة عن تراض منكم ولا تقتلوا أنفسكم إن الله كان بكم رحيما. Juz number 5, I picked an ayah from Surah An-Nisa, and this is ayah number 29. Very powerful phrasing, and it captures really one of the main ethical principles of Islam. Those of you who claim to believe, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, la ta'kulu amwalakum bainakum bil batil. Don't consume each other's money using falsehood. Don't lie on your hours at your job when you have to punch in. Don't lie about it. Don't earn, when you're a consultant and you get paid a certain number of to fill a job or by the hour, and you're just sitting having coffee and chilling or whatever, and you're getting paid for that, unless your employer knows that that's what you're doing. إِلَّا أَن تَكُونَ عَن تِجَارَةً عَن تَرَادٍ مِّنكُم. Unless it's a trade that's happening, a business that's happening with mutual agreement among you. In other words, nobody can be 100% productive all the time. That's not humanly possible. So you might feel like, okay, I'm going to work 9 to 5, but I take a 40-minute break sometimes. I just sit there and talk sometimes. Is that okay? Well, if your employer knows that's what you do and it's acceptable to him, then it's okay because it's mutually agreed. إِلَّا أَن تَكُونَ تِجَارَةً عَن تَرَادٍ مِّنكُم. Unless it's a trade, it's a business, that's mutually agreed upon. Other than that, don't scam people out of money. Don't overprice things. Don't overcharge for your services. If you're a mechanic, don't inflate your price because you're the only mechanic in like 10 miles. And this guy's got a transmission problem, might as well tell him his timing belt and his engine fluid and all this other stuff is messed up too, because what's he going to do? So all he can do is use you, right? Don't overbill people as if you're a physician, and charge them more and more and more because they're desperate and they're coming to you. Don't manipulate people like that. So don't eat people's money using falsehood. Also, tarad means that both parties are agreeing to the service or the product that's being exchanged. So if you know something about what you're selling or something about the service that you're providing, fine print if you will, that you know that your customer or your employer is not aware of, they need to be aware of it. They need to know. Because if they don't know and you're kind of skimming money out of them, then this is unacceptable to Allah. So most of our cell phone contracts, right, the fine print, this is tijarat bil batil, because you get all these fees and like, inconvenience fee or whatever, convenience fee and this fee, and you don't even know what these fees are for. And you never agreed to them, but they're all tacked on there, and they have a 40-page fine print that you have to sign at the end, and they know you're not going to read that if you're a normal human being. So, that's how they get away with these kinds of false agreements. We, Muslims, when we go into business or professional agreements or employment, we cannot consume money based on falsehood. We cannot eat people's money. And it's not just about employees with employers, it's employers with employees too, and that's what I'll end with. That employers, decide to pay a certain amount. When you know your employee's working harder, and they're doing more, and you're not paying them more as a result, or you're paying some employees more than you're paying other employees for the same exact work, because you're giving preferential treatment, this is also falsehood. This isn't right. You can't do that. These are unethical standards. That you pay some the same amount, or you pay somebody else more amount, even though they're doing the same work. This is, you're eating their money, because it's no longer your money. The person you underpaid, you just ate their money. And the only way you can get away with that is if they both an taradim minkum. And finally, if they both agree to it and they're both happy with it. That's the amazing thing in the ayah. You don't just agree with your consumer, because you can get them to agree even if they're not happy. You know how car salespeople get you to agree even if you're not happy, and you sign the thing and you regret it later? You have to be happy. Both sides have to be happy and completely content with the agreement an taradim minkum. That's the beauty of this ayah. That if both parties are not content, then this is not a fair agreement. And once the fair agreement is in place, you have no right to complain. Because you're the one who consciously and clearly agreed to this sort of thing. If we abide by this principle, wallahi, our business practices and our organizations and our companies, the companies that we run, and us as employees, we're going to have much better lives. May Allah Azza wa Jal help us be fair in our business dealings and implement the wonderful ethics that are in this beautiful ayah of Surah An-Nisa. Barakallahu li wa lakum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Support our mission to provide free education worldwide. With just $10 a month, you can help us thrive and remain accessible to all forever.